and watch the step cook.
You want 17 birds? Big ring, I play for the 17 birds. Hit my line if you want 17 birds. Big ring, I play for the 17 birds. I know a guy if you want 17 birds. Big ring, I play for the 17 birds. I know a guy if you want 17 birds. Big ring, I play for the 17 birds. Yeah, I'm from the 17th curb.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Lil Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I'm the best reporting on the Eagles. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, I got to let y'all know, man, tap in with the print champs, man. Hurt season hat still available. You know the vibes with all of that, all the merch. You know what I'm saying? We're going to ramp it up for the summertime, give y'all some cool, fun stuff to rock. You know what I mean? In the midst of, you know, a great season coming to an end for the Philadelphia Eagles, we still going to have fun because we got a lot of stuff to look forward to. So as always, big print champs in the building, man. Shout out to y'all. And listen, man, it's the off season. We got moves to prioritize, and we got some moves that need to be made. But let's start with some breaking news. We lose another coach. So we already lost both coordinators. Now we lose linebacker coach, 29-year-old Nick Rallis. He goes to go be the defensive coordinator of the Arizona Cardinals. You already know Gannon pulled him in. And if Gannon got that much influence on the guy, then I don't want him on the roster. I don't want him on the roster. Good riddance. Go with Jonathan Gannon. You know what I mean? I'm not going to blame you for the linebacking core last year. I don't even know if you're on the roster or not. But this is what I will tell you this year. You know what I mean? The linebackers weren't as bad as they were last year, but you can go. You know what I mean? It's nothing against you personally, but anybody who Jonathan Gannon has that much influence over got to go, because I want the stench of how the way the defense plays the game removed from the building altogether, if that makes any sense. Go, good riddance. I'm glad it's not a hire as of yet from inside the building. You know what I mean? Who's to say it still won't be, but go. You know what I mean? So let's talk about the priorities, man. This offseason, you know what I mean, regarding some of our personnel. The first priority, obviously, you want to get your coordinators in place, obviously. I personally think Brian Johnson is a strong candidate for the offensive coordinator position. We just got to see how that's going to pan out. You know what I mean? I don't know what they're going to do with defensive coordinator. Are they going to hire from within, or are they going to hire from outside? I'm all for hiring from within. I'm all for it within because the offense was stout. The offense was in good shape. I'm all for it on the offensive coordinator side. But defensive coordinator side, go out there and get somebody who don't know none of these players on the roster. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to come in there and change it. Change it totally. You know what I mean? You need that. So it's a lot of options out there. We've been talking about that all week. After that, I would say locking up Jalen Hurts will be the second strongest priority. Now, Jalen Hurts ain't 1 because it's going to get done. So I'm going to put Jalen Hurts at 2 because we know Jalen Hurts is going to get extended. Locking him up before other guys get the bag, you know what I mean, should happen. Because in all actuality, when you think about it, as of right now, you can't say that Joe Burrow has been that much more impressive than Jalen Hurts, if you can say it at all. Both guys have gotten their teams to the Super Bowl. Both guys have been in conference championship games. You know what I mean? I believe both guys have been all-pro. Both guys have been Pro Bowlers. Both guys have had, I don't know if Burrow has had quite the type of MVP season that Jalen Hurts had, but both guys have had those things. You know what I mean? Have been really, really good. So Jalen Hurts is within every right to demand whatever Joe Burrow's getting. He's within every right to do it. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't like that, but it is what it is. So that's why Jalen Hurts is the second priority. The third priority for me would be absolutely seeing if you can retain CJ Gardner-Johnson. CJ Gardner-Johnson will be the third priority for me. He has to be retained out of everybody. CJ Gardner-Johnson is by far the most impressive free agent that we brought in last year on a 1-year deal. Led the league in picks and missed 6 games or something like that. You got to see what you could do to bring CJ Gardner-Johnson back. I think that is a must-have. You know what I mean? Because what he does is he frees up Maddox to still be that slot coverage guy, and he also while he takes over one of those safety positions, because you're probably gonna lose Epps. I like the tandem of Blankenship and Gardner-Johnson anyway. You know what I mean? Them boys come downfield and hit, and that's what you need. You know what I mean? So after that, I'm going to say that you probably got to look at, Hargrave. It got to be Hargrave, man, because I believe in Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis actually played really well in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? But I just don't think Jordan Davis can consistently be that by himself right now. You know what I mean? None of our defensive tackles can consistently be that. Fletch, was a rotational guy. Jordan Davis was a rotational guy. Hargrave was a rotational guy. But in the midst of that rotation, Hargrave was the most impressive. You know what I mean? The most impressive. He had 10 sacks. I think he had 11 sacks from the interior position. That just don't happen, man. Defensive tackles are not supposed to have 11 sacks, which is why I think Hargrave was robbed of an all-pro berth. You know what I mean? He was better than Dexter Lawrence. He was better than the guy in Kansas City this year. I mean, the sacks, listen, it's just about sacks. Hargrave is stout in run protection, pass protection. Hargrave is just a problem in the middle. I think Hargrave, after Gardner-Johnson, is somebody that you must retain. And I might say, that might be saying goodbye to Fletcher Cox and things of that nature, but I think Javon Hargrave got to be retained. After that, man, the third most important guy for me probably would be TJ Edwards. Now, listen, there are players that perform better than TJ Edwards, like Bradbury. You know what I mean? There are players that perform better than him. Miles Sanders. There are players that perform better than him. But from an important standpoint, because you might be losing Kaiser White. Well, you should be losing Kaiser White. Nakobe Dean has to be a starter next year. He got to be a starter next year, or the pick is looking real Davion Taylor-ish. I think Nakobe Dean is ready to start. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say he's like Davion Taylor. You took Davion Taylor in the third round. You got to start Nakobe Dean next year, and you could draft a linebacker later in the rounds, or you could elevate Davion Taylor again. He's still on the practice squad. So yeah, I think that retaining TJ Edwards, TJ Edwards was a top 100 player this year. You know what I mean? A top 100 player this year. So I think it's worth it. As far as everybody else goes, I think everybody else is, I don't want to say replaceable in a negative way, because we did just get to the Super Bowl. If you could get Bradbury with all of these guys, great. If we could make something happen, yes, I would bring Bradbury back. But Bradbury is going to go somewhere and get paid for like 3 or 4 years for a bag. You know what I'm saying? And you can't really blame him. You know what I mean? The running back group for this year's draft, the depth in the running back pool in the draft coming up is so deep that it don't even make sense to bring Miles Sanders back. It don't even make sense. If you're not Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry, for real, maybe Saquon Barkley, I can't really justify you getting a contract extension. Like a fat $10 million, $12 million a year joint for a running back. I can't really justify it if you're not those two players. You know what I mean? There's always new running backs every single year. This year, Damian Pierce jumped on the scene. You know what I'm saying? Jumped on the scene. Josh Jacobs did what he did. You know what I'm saying? The Raiders ain't even going to re-sign him. He going to end up being a free agent. The Raiders might try. You know what I mean? It would be like they looking at being really, really bad if they don't try to do something with Josh Jacobs, because you don't even have a quarterback right now. So you know what I mean? It's just a lot that goes into free agency, man. I don't think it's worth bringing Miles back. Would I love to? Yes. I think they'd rather draft somebody. You know what I mean? I don't see them trading for nobody. I think they'd rather draft somebody and bring back Boston Scott instead. So you notice I didn't really say anybody on the offensive side of the ball. Whoa. I forgot about Kelce. I don't know how I almost forgot about Kelce, but Kelce is also a priority. I don't know where he's leaning to if he's going to retire, there's nothing you could do about that. But if Kelce wants to come back, of course he's going to want to come back to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. So you got to try to make something happen with Jason Kelce in those regards. So you know what I mean? That's the list right there, guys. Got the priorities that the Philadelphia Eagles have, the marching orders. You know what I mean? This upcoming week, we're going to talk about the draft and positions of need based upon my marching orders. You know what I'm saying? And I think we're in a real good space, Philadelphia Eagles fans. The Super Bowl, I understand how it can hurt. You know what I mean? Listen, I'm still bothered by it. But at the end of the day, it's another season coming up. You know what I'm saying? The season was not a disappointment. You know what I mean? I cannot emphasize that enough. That's why I don't see too many Eagles fans being mad. You can't be mad. You really can't be mad. We've been to the Super Bowl twice in the last 5 years. And one time we narrowly let it escape out of those 2 times. Narrowly let it escape. And the reason why it didn't go our way is now on another football team. The offense is locked up. We know them dudes could produce 30 points a game. You know what I mean? An offensive coordinator coming to this thing don't even got to change nothing. That's why you should bring Brian Johnson in. You don't have to change anything. All you got to do is do you. And who knows about what we did last year better than Brian Johnson, man? Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man.